A buddy of mine just bought a 2018 Tesla Model 3 from a used car lot for what seemed like a steal. 3 weeks later, the front suspension started clunking, the touchscreen went black, and the Tesla service center quoted him over $4,000 in repairs on a car he had paid $19,000 for. If he had bought a Model 3 from just 2 model years later from that same lot, he probably would have had 0 issues. The difference between a good Tesla Model 3 and a terrible one comes down to knowing exactly which years to avoid and which ones will run basically forever. Number 1, the 2017 and early 2018 production hell cars. If you are shopping for a used Model 3 and you see a 2017 or early 2018 on the lot, keep walking. These cars were built during the darkest chapter in Tesla's manufacturing history. Elon Musk himself called it production hell, and the cars that came out of the Fremont factory during that period prove it. The 2017 Model 3 is basically a hand-built prototype. Tesla only made about 1,700 of them, and nearly all went to employees. Every early production issue you can imagine showed up on these cars. Charge port failures, rear drive unit problems, spontaneous rear glass cracking, and phantom touch inputs on the center screen. Sandy Munro, the legendary automotive teardown engineer, disassembled an early Model 3 and found panel gaps as wide as nearly 7 millimeters. For context, a cheap Subaru sedan from that era had gaps around 5 millimeters. The weather stripping was hand-glued, and the body stampings did not match up. The whole car was rough. But 2018 was actually worse in many ways because Tesla built hundreds of thousands of them under extreme pressure. First pass quality yield at the Fremont assembly line dropped as low as 14%, meaning 86 out of every 100 cars needed rework before they could ship. Tesla literally set up a production tent in the parking lot to hit delivery targets. Front upper control arm failures became a documented design flaw that can cost anywhere from $200 to over $2,000 to fix. Rear drive units corroded internally. The cabin heater died, with replacement parts back-ordered for weeks. One owner on the Tesla Motors Club forum documented over $3,000 in out-of-pocket repairs in a single year on his 2018. Consumer Reports actually revoked their recommendation for the Model 3 in early 2019 after owners reported loose body trim, cracking glass, and paint defects. If you are looking at any Model 3 built between January and June of 2018, that is the absolute danger zone. Tesla even issued a suspension recall covering cars built from January 2018 through March 2019 because the lateral link fasteners could actually separate from the subframe while driving. That is not a rattle, that is a safety hazard. Number 2, the early 2019 trap. The 2019 Model 3 looks a lot better on paper than the 2018. Build quality did improve noticeably, and Tesla had worked through a lot of the production chaos. But there is a catch hiding under the hood that trips up a lot of bargain shoppers. The 2019 actually has the highest complaint volume filed with the Federal Safety Agency of any pre-2020 Model 3, with close to 500 complaints covering things like unintended acceleration events, collision avoidance malfunctions, and ongoing build quality issues. It was recalled over 20 times. The critical detail inside the 2019 model year is the build date stamped on the door jamb. In late April of 2019, Tesla started shipping Hardware 3, which is the full self-driving computer in all new vehicles. Before that cutoff, you are getting the same Autopilot 2.5 hardware from 2017 and 2018. That older hardware is increasingly losing software features and will never run newer Tesla capabilities. So a February 2019 build and a September 2019 build are practically different cars wearing the same Tesla badge. The other big headache on the 2019 is water. Owners reported water leaking into the trunk during heavy rain, sometimes collecting several ounces per hour of highway driving. The cabin heater failures from 2018 carried over as well, running about $750 or more to fix out of warranty. And if the drive unit ever needs replacement at high mileage, that bill can land between $6,000 and $8,000 at a Tesla service center. A late 2019 with hardware 3 is a reasonable used buy at the right price. But an early 2019 carries almost as much risk as a 2018, so always check the actual build date on the door jamb sticker before you hand over any money. Number 3. The 2021 Paradox. This one is tricky because the 2021 Model 3 has almost every feature upgrade you actually want in a used Tesla. It came with Chrome Delete exterior trim, double pane side glass for a quieter cabin, a heated steering wheel, a power trunk, and the big addition, a heat pump with an 8-way valve thermal management system that replaced the old resistive cabin heater. On paper, the 2021 looks like the obvious sweet spot. But 2021 was the first full year with that heat pump, and it had a brutal first winter. The electronic expansion valve inside the system could malfunction in cold weather, trapping refrigerant and completely shutting down the compressor. That means zero cabin heat when temperatures dropped below freezing. Imagine sitting in your Model 3 in January in Minnesota with frost forming on the inside of your windshield. Tesla recalled over 26,000 cars for this exact problem, and some heat pumps needed full replacement at around $3,000 out of warranty. On top of that, Tesla transitioned to camera-only autopilot in May of 2021, removing the forward-facing radar from the bumper. Early camera-only software had significantly worse phantom braking, where the car would slam on the brakes for no reason on the highway. The Federal Safety Agency received over 570 complaints about phantom braking on 2021 models alone. There is one more wrinkle that Tesla forums talk about, but that rarely makes it into mainstream reviews. Specific Panasonic battery cell batches used in the 2021 long-range and performance trims showed higher initial degradation than cells from adjacent model years. This appears to be a bad batch of battery cells, not a design flaw in the pack itself. The 2021 Standard Range Plus, which uses the newer lithium iron phosphate battery, does not have this problem at all. So if you are set on a 2021, the Standard Range with the iron phosphate battery is the safer bet by a wide margin. But not every Model 3 is a headache. The next 4 years on this list are the ones that genuinely hold up, and the first one might surprise you. Number 4, the 2020 Sleeper Pick. Nobody talks about the 2020 Model 3, and that's exactly why it's a great used buy. It logged 293 complaints with the Federal Safety Agency, the lowest of any model year by a significant margin. Tesla made very few changes early in the 2020 production run, which means proven components and no first-year growing pains from new technology. The 2020 Model 3 is essentially a mature, refined version of the original Model 3 design, before Tesla started adding the heat pump and making major hardware swaps. The drivetrain is battle-tested. The cabin heater is the simpler resistive type that just works. The touchscreen still runs on the Intel Atom processor, which is slower than the newer Ryzen chip, but perfectly functional for navigation, music, and climate controls. Late 2020 builds get even better because Tesla started rolling out the mid-cycle refresh around October. Those cars got the Chrome Delete exterior, the new center console design, a heated steering wheel, a power trunk, and double-pane side glass all in one package. A late 2020 Model 3 with those updates is one of the most quietly reliable versions you can find, and they are priced very aggressively on the used market because everyone is focused on newer inventory. Number 5. The late 2022 Sweet Spot. If you want the single best used Model 3 you can buy right now, this is it. Multiple Tesla forums, independent mechanics, and automotive journalists all land on the same answer. A late 2022 Standard Range Plus with the lithium iron phosphate battery is the one to get. The reason comes down to a perfect storm of hardware upgrades that all converged in late 2022 production. First, Tesla switched the infotainment computer from the Intel Atom chip to the AMD Ryzen processor. That is roughly 5 times the computing power, and your touchscreen actually feels responsive instead of laggy. Second, Tesla replaced the old lead-acid 12-volt battery with a lithium-ion unit. The old lead-acid batteries were one of the most annoying failure points on every Model 3, dying every 2 to 4 years and completely bricking the car when they failed. The new lithium 12-volt battery is expected to last the entire life of the vehicle. Third, the 2022 cars still have ultrasonic parking sensors around the bumpers. Tesla removed those sensors entirely in 2023 and switched to a camera-only parking system that initially performed noticeably worse. So the late 2022 Model 3 gives you the best of both worlds. And fourth, the lithium iron phosphate battery on the standard range model is a genuine long-term durability champion. Unlike the older nickel-cobalt chemistry, the iron phosphate cells handle daily charging to 100% without any penalty to long-term battery health. Tesla's own impact report shows Model 3 batteries retaining an average of 85% capacity after 200,000 miles. A Canadian courier pushed his Model 3 past 310,000 miles on the original battery pack with about 80% capacity remaining. That is more longevity than most gas engines deliver, and it came from a battery pack. Used late 2022 Model 3s are trading in the mid-$20,000 to low $30,000 range right now, which makes them one of the strong values in the entire used car market. If you are finding this helpful, hit subscribe. I cover Tesla and electric vehicle maintenance tips every week, so you never get blindsided by an expensive repair bill. Now let's talk about the remaining Model 3 years worth considering. Number 6, 2023, the most refined original. 2023 was the final year of the original Model 3 design, and it benefits from 7 full years of Tesla learning how to build this car properly. Independent analysis shows roughly 30% fewer assembly defects compared to earlier production runs. Consumer Reports scored it around average for reliability, which is actually a huge win for a car that scored well below average in 2018 and 2019. 2023 carries over every hardware improvement from late 2022, including the Ryzen processor and lithium 12-volt battery, without introducing any major new components that could cause first-year problems. The one notable downgrade is the loss of those ultrasonic parking sensors, which bothered some owners until Tesla's camera-only parking software caught up through over-the-air updates. There is one item to check on any 2023 that you are considering. The Federal Safety Agency opened an investigation into the Model 3 steering rack covering over 330,000 vehicles after receiving nearly 2,400 complaints about sudden loss of power steering assist. This eventually resulted in a recall, so verify that the software update has been applied before purchasing. On the used market, the 2023 has depreciated aggressively because the Highland refresh makes it look and feel dated inside. Trade-in values have dropped into the upper teens %, which means you can get a nearly new low-mileage 2023 for significantly less than a comparable 2024 Highland. If you care more about reliability than having the latest interior design, the 2023 is a smart play. Number 7, the 2024 and 2025 Highland refresh. The Highland is the biggest update the Model 3 has received since it launched. Tesla redesigned the exterior with slimmer headlights and new taillights and completely overhauled the interior. The wood dash trim is gone, replaced with a woven textile panel. Every Highland Model 3 now comes with ventilated front seats, an 8-inch rear passenger screen, 17-speaker audio, and color-changing ambient lighting across all 4 doors. The ride quality transformation is dramatic. New frequency selective dampers, redesigned front suspension geometry, and significantly better sound insulation make the Highland feel like it belongs in a different price bracket than the old Model 3. But first-year production problems are real, even on a redesign this thorough. The #1 complaint on the Tesla owners forum right now is the ambient LED light bar cracking inside the door panels. Multiple owners have documented the plastic strips developing stress fractures within months of delivery. Tesla initially replaced entire door trim panels under warranty, and then started blaming aftermarket window tinting even on cars that were never tinted. Some owners with completely stock vehicles are seeing the same cracking pattern. Other Highland issues include intermittent connectivity failures, where the car loses cellular, Bluetooth, and wireless all at once, plus early reports of front strut failures on certain production batches. The controversial change that everyone argues about is the removal of the turn signal and gear shift stalks. Turn signals now live on steering wheel buttons, and you shift gears through the touchscreen. Every major automotive reviewer has called it an ergonomic step backward, and even after months of ownership, many drivers still accidentally trigger the wrong signal during quick lane changes. One important buying tip for the Highland. Cars built at Tesla's Shanghai factory, which have vehicle identification numbers starting with LRW, consistently show better paint quality and tighter panel fitment than cars built at the Fremont factory in California. Shanghai's paint shop uses newer equipment, and their quality control metrics have been measurably better since the factory opened. If you're ordering a Highland new or shopping for one used, the Shanghai build is worth seeking out. The Highland is genuinely the best Model 3 Tesla has ever made in terms of refinement, comfort, and driving experience. But if you're buying one, skip the very earliest production vehicles and look for mid to late 2024 builds or newer after Tesla worked through the initial manufacturing kinks. Your wallet and your Tesla service bill will thank you. 3 quick rules before you go shopping. First, always check the build date on the door jamb, not just the model year, because Tesla changes hardware mid-production constantly. Second, verify the hardware configuration before you buy. Check whether the car has the Ryzen or Atom processor, a lithium or lead-acid 12-volt battery, and which battery chemistry is in the main pack. These hardware details matter more than the model year on the window sticker. Third, get a battery health scan using a diagnostic tool before you hand over money. Degradation varies between individual cars based on charging habits and climate, and a 5-minute scan can save you thousands down the road. Pick the right year, verify the hardware, and a used Tesla Model 3 can genuinely be a 300,000-mile car.